information. We don't have any drop messages. Don't RE. So everything on this screen is fine. What I want to go to now is setup 1. So I'll go to that now. Setup 1. Okay. Important thing to look for is that. Okay, we still have that information. What I have to do next is I've got this wire from pin 20 of the old to connect it to pin 28 of the old U30. This 30 and will allow another runtime chip to operate in its place. So I'll connect that up now. Runtime chip that is used for the key puller. Now that I've got the old U30 disabled, I'm going to put this into the 28-pin socket, then we'll continue on. You'll note that is on this side, towards the crystal over here. This board here is the U7 key puller. Okay, what I have to do is I have to connect up these wire boards. Is I've got a white wire, and I have to connect that to the enable resistor to U11. So I'm just going to tack it in place there. Next wire is the black wire from the key puller. I have to connect that to the middle through hole, actually U8. Okay, I'll just solder it in place, solder it into that through hole. Is a gray wire to pin 15, and the remaining wire 7 of U11. We've made all the connections. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect this connector up to the motherboard with the 2100 standalone unit powered down. I don't want any power going to this board quite yet. So I'll just connect it up. It is really important. Put this subboard onto the vertical stacks on U7. I have to get it in place and power it up right away. I have a chance of losing the keys. Okay, so I'm going to try and do that now. The current menus that you can see. Setup 1. Check the current status. Setup 1. Okay, here's a shot of the dip switches on the subboard. What I want to do on switches 1 and 2. There's 1. And that's all.
Kenny. Tonight I'd like to thank someone that's kind of special. You might not think so. You might think that possibly he's a pirate. I'm going to thank as not a pirate at all. Someone that really cares about the industry and spends a lot of time and a lot of money trying to make something good happen in it. I guess because he makes money, and some people say in piracy, you people on the, I guess the far right would consider him a chipper, but he's not. He makes money from piracy just like GI makes money from piracy, distributor makes it, and I guess some dealers. He deals with it. His name is Bill Myers. He produces Satellite Watch newsletter. And I want to thank him because Bill always calls me with news. He always calls me with information. He's willing to fax us information. He's willing to go an extra couple of sure that we're informed so that we can respond to current situations. Probably the best read of anybody out there. And for those of you that would like to read his publication, it's called Satellite Watch Newsletter. I urge you to do so momentarily. And unfortunately, fortunately, it does talk a great deal about piracy. But it also talks about this industry and some of the injustices in it. And there are indeed many. Cat House Bulletin Board is still down as far as we know, and I don't know when they're coming back up, but I assume he's well, and he will be back up. There has been some testing of VC2 Plus signals. Well, don't believe they're VC2 Plus signals because the VC2E, or 2100E, is picking up the signals. The pattern has been going on transponder 14 on Telstar 301. It's alleged to be a plus signal. No one can figure out how, because it indeed is not anything is picking it up. And with Al Lewis, and are afraid you might want to stay away from a company called American Software International in Harmony, California. It is believed that Al Lewis is really American Software International. He also is maintaining a post office box in upstate New York. So if you see any shippers offering you product but want you to only ship you to use COD, expect rocks in their box, because that's what's going to happen. There are many people in this industry, not our industry so much, because I think some of us would relish the thought, but people in the communication industry, indeed we all are in that are fearful that there might be some real problem at Time Warner. There has been a substantial journals reporting there might be some deal of problems there. There is a problem in general in cable because it is so heavily leveraged and it has fallen so much that they very well may go to Congress with the fact that they could collapse truly financially to pass any bills that would substantially affect their pricing structure. Now this is garbage. Why that they would be allowed to to Congress and expect Congress to up artificially and at the expense of so many is beyond me. But that's some of the rumors that are going on, and you should be aware of it because it's going to come and affect you personally, because you indeed, as a satellite consumer, will pay far more for programming than need be, because one of the bills that will mostly affect the cable industry is, of course, Gore's Bill 1698. If it were to pass, it would strongly affect the cable and cable's pricing, and have a detrimental, of course, drive their prices even down further on the stock market and create indeed a problem in the cable industry, but not for the cable consumers, nor are we the satellite consumers. For those of you that care, you should write your senators and congressmen. They're so important for you to get hold of now, more so than ever before. And in this regard, we know so few of you are going to do it. We have decided to start a new, committee. We've started a lot of committees, many. If you were to go back from the very beginning of Boresight and where it started from, you would find that it was instrumental in Satellite Earth Day. It was instrumental in the formation of USIA, SDC, the SDCA, and I'm not taking credit for all of them. I'm just taking that we were instrumental in the formation of many of these situations, along with many other activities. And it saddens us to see so many of them fail because of poor management. And in many cases, we could not be involved with the management of them. First of all, we are a news agency. It is not our intention to be politically involved that way. So we've always left things to others to do, and unfortunately, things aren't getting done. CSTAT, by far and away, has the best opportunity to accomplish anything. And I've tried to call them recently to arrange for this next go-around, and I will eventually get that done. They're not that hard to reach. I'm that hard to pin down to get that accomplished. But what we're going to do now is, because we don't know that they don't kind of like stay out of the video cipher situation, at least as far as we know, we are going to start a committee of people that will volunteer their time to come in here on Wednesday to prepare paperwork to be disseminated to the Congress and to people in the press. Lots of information. We need to also, you out there that can't come in here and help do this, prepare this, we ask you to do the following. We ask you to write down the telephone numbers of call-in shows in your area. We also need the telephone numbers and name and addresses of the newspapers in your area, as well as television stations. We need to collect all this data, and there's no better person than you to help us do it. For those of you that are within 100 miles of here, we ask you to come, to sit down and help us get this thing done. And what this thing is very simple. Number one, we must stop the Video Cipher 2+. If not stop it, make it so that we don't have to pay for it is unfair for us to pay for that product. It is unfair in so many ways. GI has participated in piracy. Indeed, they've made more money off of piracy than any other single group. If you accept the fact that satellite chippers are not groups, they're individuals. I believe chipping has made the video cipher market than anybody else. And truly that is the problem. Because today the only people that really have the money and the power to do something to stop the introduction are those of chippers, general instruments, manufacturers, and distributors, all of which are going to profit from the Video Cipher 2 Plus in one way or another. It is you, the satellite dealer, who are going to suffer the most with this introduction. It is you and I, the dealer and the consumer, have the most to get GI pay for this introduction, and we have to do something about it. We can only do it if we get to work on it. So, if you have time, please call on Wednesday morning or Wednesday whenever you can, or if you have another day that you prefer to come and work, let us know. We would like to get 10 or 12 of you together. We have a nice, beautiful, clean room. It's right ground level. You don't have to even be in the basement. And if you're all alone, there's telephones in there, there's tables. We need to get something done. There's a lot of information that's got to be disseminated and organized, and we need a committee. I don't know what your name's going to be yet. We'll come up with it when you're here. But we need you. If you're out there and you have a couple hours to spare, we need you. Call us, not tonight, please, but call us tomorrow or the following day. We have some other things that we think are important for you to be aware of. They are Jack Landy. Remember Jack Landy? He was with, what the heck was his name? He was a chipper, a ledge chipper, I should say. He was the Indian on the Crow Reservation. But he has about 60 or 70 Video Cipher standalone decoders still available. And if you're looking for them, I think they're $550 a piece. They are virgin or they are socketed, but they are not cloned in any way. Back and pick up yourself a brand new Video Cipher. This is very important because there are no standalone decoders in the marketplace, which has created an interesting problem, and I'll tell you about that. Leave Jack's number one. I'm telling you this because it doesn't people should realize that they better call. There are no Video Cipher standalone decoders right now, and that may very well have been done to drive one of the best competitors in our industry out of business. That is Radio Shack. Radio Shack, in case you haven't noticed, in the March circuit, advertised a complete satellite system for $998. You might ask yourself, well, that's a pretty good price. Well, it is a good price, but it's any dealer could actually. All it is a unit of 9,000, which isn't that much money, a feed, and their dish. Their dish is an 8.5-foot dish, and call can deal with you. So it isn't that great of a deal. When it was $18.95, it was overpriced, or $17.95. Because it is a 900 unit N, it is not a Video Cipher. It's not an IRD. In order for that system to work, it is going to need a standalone decoder. There are no standalone decoders in the field. Well, the way I figure it, there's probably going to be about 10,000, because I think that's how many of these systems they'll sell at that price, people out there that are going to be real damn unhappy. Well, I hope they're happy enough to write the senators and congressmen, because what has happened here, and GI may or may not have done this intentionally, but they sure are stupid about it because they prove once again that monopoly will not work. If you cannot have standalone decoders and you are forcing one company, such as a Radio Shack, into a corner, making them a competitive disadvantage in selling no standalone decoders, look for a lawsuit to follow, or look for a lot of and Radio Shack to do a lot of screaming. But whatever it is, I congratulate Radio Shack. But I don't think they necessarily did it intentionally, but if they did, it's a stroke of genius. If they didn't, you lucked out. Because I think it's going to create havoc in the marketplace, rightfully so, because there should not be any monopoly in this marketplace such as GI, because anybody that knows anything about electronics knows full well a Video Cipher standalone can be made for less than $182. A Video Cipher board can be made for less than $62. That's including everything involved, or all engineering, everything involved, right from the beginning to the end. That's how much it costs. There's another great, well, I'm talking about Radio Shack. Put Digitron's number up, please. Digitron is looking for installers for these systems. Of course, you'll be able to sell a standalone decoder if you could buy one, and of course, if you call Jack Landy, you can. So, Digitron is looking for installers. Apparently, they have a lot of installations that need to be done well, but they do pay something. You, of course, if you can build that in a roof mount, and there are other ways to build the price up to a more reasonable level. But check them out. They are there. Well, let me talk about this for a second. Sorry, folks. This is not a professional show. We never project it to be. This is us. There's a technical person needed. Put that up, would you, Laura, Alita? Technical person is in dire need in Kentucky. I'll tell you who it is, but if you have the inclination to move to the northern area of Kentucky, write that post office box. Who should they address it to? Write to Technical, P.O. Box 1062, Russell Springs, Kentucky. And there's the zip code. So leave that up for a minute while I talk about this next thing. What is the next thing? The next thing is home dish only. I guess you've noticed they're not there. They're not there. Why are they not there? Because Alabama decided to sue obscenity. Now, it may have appeared in your press already. If not, so be it. 10 people have been sued in all, 4 of which are from Home Dish, some are from GTE, and some are also from U.S. Satellite in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is the place their satellite where they're. And it will prove to be an interesting situation. It is believed that the person that's suing them is strictly a political guy trying to make some political mileage, and he figures this is the easiest and best way to do it. I don't know. I do know they're off the air while they might be up there tonight, actually. The reason is that they had to get a new uplink because U.S. Satellite decided to not put them up anymore. So they were sitting out there with the encoder at U.S. Satellite's uplink. What were they going to do with it? If U.S. Satellite refused to put them up, here, obviously that would even irritate the person. Also, the fact that it's more than likely U.S. Home Dish and Ecstasy, we should know, will go to the plus sooner than expected as a method to control the marketplace. But piracy exists. We're sorry, and we're sorry the people that what happened was that kids were recording their show off the air and then selling the videotapes at their local school. Now, I hope I was not responsible for that, because I happened to mention that, I think, in one of our shows, that we knew somebody that was doing that. I thought it comical. Somebody started doing it down in Alabama and made somebody mad. So, such is life. I've got some recent news out of Satellite Insider, and for those of you, particularly the other pieces, so for those of you, I want to promote this one more time. Those in particular, and certainly you consumers that are politically oriented, should consider subscribing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 leads for satellite dealers in the back. These are called opportunity leads, and they are different types of things that sales opportunities do for people. And you're a person, you're a dealer, you're looking to make some extra money. Check out Satellite Insider. The number's right there on your screen. And I urge you to recognize the fact that they are out there. They're trying to make a buck for you. And it's not cheap, but it's real good. And we're starting to read it for all our news. And I have not gotten satellite business news this week, but apparently business news actually did have one good story in it. I've been told by a few people that it's going to open up a retail store. If dealers, you haven't heard that before, hear it now. Open up a retail store. I guess they realize, now this is for you FBI agents. The reason is that GI knows that if you're a GI dealer, you don't get busted for chipping. Isn't that strange? 30-some-odd% of the marketplace is held by General Instruments with their receivers, not their decoders. Of course, the decoders hold 100% of that marketplace, but their receivers control 30-some-odd% of the marketplace. It's the two different people have two different averages. Somebody says 25%, somebody says 33%. Let's say it's even 25%. Of the over 100 people that had been busted, only one was a GI dealer. Hey, tells you something, doesn't it? Become a GI dealer and don't worry about getting busted. Now, I gotta mention this to a guy I know out in Ohio, Steve Klein. Steve Klein from S&S Reception System is now a distributor. He's distributing Star Trek receivers, Odom antennas, a lot of other products. So if you're out there in Ohio, put his number up. If you're out in Ohio and you picked yourself up some really fine satellite equipment, check out Steve Klein. He operates a very fine distribution center. But Steve, my message to you is, if you never want to see another FBI, you better pick yourself up some General Instruments satellite equipment, because that way you can be assured of never seeing an FBI agent. Now, GI is real smart about this, and I got to tell you, I mean, they knew why do you think GI was so upset when the SPCA was forced to take it over? I think we had a lot to do with that. Maybe CSAT also was bringing this to everyone's attention. If you are a GI dealer, you don't have to worry about getting busted. Do you think for 1 minute that there are no GI dealers chipping? Do you think that if 90% of the dealers are chipping and GI holds 25% of the marketplace, shouldn't have 25% of the chippers that were busted been GI dealers? Why was only 1%? That's because GI does it all, folks. GI is so smart. You people don't recognize how stupid we are and how smart GI is. Maybe that's why you're scared. Stop being scared. Because you don't have to be scared anymore. Because we got smart like GI. We hired ourselves a really smart lawyer. Right from the Justice Department, just like GI did. This Justice Department lawyer can call upon all his Justice Department friends. His job, our Justice Department lawyer, yours and mine, because we're paying the sucker, is to investigate General Instruments and draw up the original complaint. His job is to go after GI and find us attorneys to finish the lawsuit against them. He's going to make arrangements to get us people at the Justice Department. He's going to make arrangements for the FBI people. He needs money. He runs the escrow account. No money can leave that escrow account unless 7 people on the finance committee can do it. Get it off. So, please, you can. He's working for you and I and nobody else. He needs your money. He don't run that shit. He used to be a former government employee, and he's used to working for not a whole lot of money on the hour, but unfortunately, he still gets a bit. We need you to support. Well, things keep right on trucking along, don't they? There's a big shutdown this last week, or actually the week before, and continues on to this week. And it basically is simple. A lot of people are running on the same serial number or ID number. If your video cipher was shut down, it's probably because a number that probably 1,000 other people had, maybe up to 20,000 other people had. Big market out there for ID numbers. That is not, however, why we are selling a C-key puller. We are selling C-key pullers for key archival purposes, and for those dealers that would make one receiver in the house play multiple receivers, or in a bar or for any place else for that matter. It seems to me that there is absolutely no reason why we should have to pay for 2 or 3 authorizations in the same household. I'm willing to bet on that through the court system. I don't believe any court in this land is going to tell you that you have to subscribe to 3 different video ciphers in the same house. So if you would like to have your board key archived and you have an 032, you may send it in to us. We will charge you $150 to do it. It is not easy, and if you saw the demonstration of how it's done, then you know. You will also have to send an affidavit in that you are going to use that board only in your home. For those of you that would like to buy a C-key puller, we do have 032 C-key pullers. They are $850. They are shipped next day. So if you are looking for a C-key puller for 032, we have it. We do not have any C-key pullers for 019s. At this time, however, there used to be one available. If any of you out there may have a C-key puller for 019 and 018 boards, give us a call. If you'd like to sell it, we'll tell the people about it. We also would like to remind some of you that may not know, if you're real interested in knowing what's going on in the underground and just knowing what's going on in the satellite community at large, and you'd like to read a newsletter, you might check out newsletter is published in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and let me give you the telephone number. The telephone number for Satellite Watch Newsletter, 321-1845. And although that is a chipper's newsletter, the truth is that it is one way that Bill has found to get his message out and get it supported. Yes, there are a lot of people that do sell chips, but it's also very true that Bill's position on satellite is one that the only to continue fighting, and we can't continue fighting if we're not around. So I guess that's GI's attitude, isn't it? GI, after all, according to one insider, said, yes, we make money on shipping right now, but sooner or later we'll be able to make a decoder that can't be chipped. So while we're making money on shipping, we are trying to stop it. And I don't see how that's any different than what Bill does or what I do or anybody else, although I don't know if I make any money on shipping. I do talk about it, and it seems to be anybody that talks about it, is honest enough to talk about it, is persecuted, and people like GI who pretend like it's the worst thing in the world, but yet know full well that they're making their living from it, still contend that it's a wrong position to take, at least on the surface. We are going to have a scramble portion on tonight's show. We are going to continue the C-key puller. If you would like to see that in the clear, stay tuned for a couple more weeks. We will be running it in the clear. If you'd like to get a videotape of it, we do have videotapes available on that product for $20. So if you'd like to see how it's done, it is available for $20. And let me show you something else we're going to be doing next week. We have a demonstration. We're going to be showing two new products. One is a regular seed U30 replacement on 032s, and the other one is this really neat gem that is going to be available. This is a new product that's out that is incredible for those of you like myself that would like to go ahead and put a number in a household that is running multiple units. You can go ahead and plug it right into the board and load it up with the seed key number from the unit you pulled the seed key information from. And in the same household, you can have 2 or 3 boards running on the exact same number very simply. Now, we're going to have a demonstration on this next week, and we will talk about it further. There is another product we will also show you that will potentially do the exact same thing, and it's a simple chip. It's just a 27128. I want to remind all of you there are 2 that do service video ciphers. They do it fairly, reasonably. They do it very quickly, and you want to check them both out. The first one is Lee Hadlock Incorporated. And you can see the address there in case you can't see me, but you can hear me. The address is 500 Kelly Hollow Drive, Hot Springs, Arkansas. 71913 is the zip code, and his telephone number is 501-623-3003. Funny, I spoke about the Satellite Watch newsletter. They too are from Hot Springs, Arkansas. However, they are not related whatsoever. The other location that is just a great guy, great group of people, is S&S Reception System. S&S I spoke about on Boresight, if you saw Boresight earlier, whereby we told you all about the fact that if you're looking as a satellite dealer looking for some great buys on satellite equipment, you're looking for Star Trek or Odom or Norsat LMBs, you want to check out S&S Reception. They have become a distributor in the last year, and they have some great pricing, but they also are one of the finest service centers in America for servicing video cipher. Will not do anything illegal, nor will Mr. Hadlock for that matter, but they will indeed fix video ciphers. Unfortunately, both of these poor individuals are characterized as chippers. But the truth is, they're just people trying to make a living like GI, like myself, who, yes, they do indeed cipher, but they make it legally. They fix the boards for people that break the boards. So, there you go. Check out S&S Reception. And that's all we have tonight. The remainder of this show will be scrambled. Do you have something else? Oh, let me talk about this. All of you pay close attention to this. In Plenty Wood, that's where, Montana, I've got this story from Bill Myers, U.S. agents broke a satellite dealer up, and apparently the satellite dealer, a lot of equipment was seized from his location, along with $300,000 in cash. Now, what's not being reported in the press is that the $300,000 in cash was not written down on the inventory list that was a list of equipment that was taken from that dealer's home. And this is not the first dealer or the first person that's complained about this situation in Montana and possibly other states as well. Be very careful. If you are busted and cash is taken, make sure it is recorded on the seizure list. If it is not recorded, then they're going to claim they never took it. It seems to be a bit of embarrassment for the FBI in that area because there is a child. Also, BMAC, as a lot of you out there know, has been broken. SA continues to deny it. We know it's been broken. We've known for a long time it's been broken, but we didn't bother reporting it to you because it really was of no issue in that who cares? I mean, yes, those of you that are interested in the tracks care, but by and large the consumer doesn't care, and he's out there. And frankly, anybody that's crazy enough to sell it to a bookie runs the risk, of course, of getting his legs broken when SA finally figures out a way to shut these things down. And of course, SA will, because the way of breaking the BMAC, please pay attention in case you don't know this, is through cloning. And there are just a couple of people, a couple of numbers out there, and once that number gets compromised, all those decoders that have that number built into them are going to get shut down. Of course, if a bookie place gets busted, and the product is seized, it will be sent to SA. SA will extract the number from it and shut down all those people. Now, 2 things happen there. One, you have compromised or hurt the person that may have done it very innocently. You may have actually told them, listen, I just have one friend of mine that needs the board so he can get his authorized. Hundreds of boards may get authorized with that number, and you may end up going to jail for helping you. So you've potentially involved someone innocently on this just to do somebody a favor, and he now has a whole world of problems. The other problem is that it just creates a bad. I don't know what you're going to do about it, but I do know that SA is working feverishly to try to indeed Bmaxes in the field. However, I must tell you that there's a lot of Bmaxes, probably going to take them a year and a half to do it, fix one that has not been proven yet. So stay tuned for further developments on the BMAC saga. And I want to thank all of you who have sent us in news. Please remember, on Wednesdays, we need volunteers. We are collecting volunteers on Wednesday. If you have any time at all that you can give to a committee on Wednesday, we need you to come here to Somerville, New Jersey, and work with us on trying to get some of these projects concluded, in trying to get the media and our congressmen to understand the issue that's before them and some of the bills that are going on, and particularly what's going on in GI and the push on the Video Cipher 2+. So if you have time, please call us tomorrow or leave a message on our 24-hour order line telling us that you are in the area, you don't mind driving 50 or 100 miles down to this area to lend some of your time in coordinating an effort to let Congress and the news media know about the issue before this industry, because only through collective effort are we going to get this accomplished. There's nobody else out there doing it, and if you would like to see not necessarily free programming, but fair pricing on programming, you need to get involved. You need to come down here on a Wednesday. If you fail, there's a better day for you to do it. Let us know. We can possibly make arrangements to set up a different day, but Wednesday for us is the best day in this office. However, thank you and stay tuned. Well, I had to come back and see you because I forgot the most important thing. Listen, a lot of you, like myself, are concerned about the abuses of General Instruments and what they're doing to this industry, not the least of which is their new idea to open up satellite a showroom for themselves in LA. That's why we think we should sue GI. We think we should sue GI because they're trying to force us to buy a new encryption system that's going to cost us a bunch of money. Now, no one else is going to do this. All your distributors and manufacturers are afraid of GI because they're afraid GI will cut their pipeline off. It's only me and you out there that are going to do this. Know that GI is a crook. You and I know that we are going to pay for GI's crookedness. Not the manufacturers and distributors. Yes, they pay initially, but then to you and I. Mainly you, the customer, pays because the dealer has to pass it on too. So, if you as a customer, you as a consumer, are tired of being abused by General Instruments, being shut off, and now being told that you're going to have to buy a new Video Cipher because your old one is no good, they're definitely going to kill your old one through electronic countermeasures. There's no question about that. That's already a foregone conclusion. The only question is, when are they going to do it? Now, it's been set back a little bit because they've had trouble with the VC2 Plus again. They're going to get dollars by doing it. If you would like to stop them, we've set up a new escrow account because the other escrow account was too damn confusing from the standpoint of that other. Marvin Rudnick is a former Justice Department attorney. He is he is collecting the money. He reports to 7 people that sit on a finance committee. No money can leave that escrow account unless you tell us. Actually, you don't tell us. What happens is the 7 committee members sit there and decide what bills we paid, and only legal bills are paid from this escrow account. That means that Marvin's bill, or the lawyers in Washington's bill is paid, or the lawyers in LA, or the lawyers in New York. We are going to launch an extensive lawsuit against General Instruments for a number of things. We're not going to reveal them all here. We're waiting for the lawsuit to actually be filed. But unfortunately, we've had trouble because they haven't actually brought out the doggone Video Cipher 2+ yet, really, where it's in the field, or they haven't actually come out with programming. And the second thing is, you haven't sent enough money in yet. Yes, a lot of you great dealers in Las Vegas gave us money, but not enough of you have sent money in here. We really need all of you to do this. That's the address you need to send it to. On the bottom of your check, please write escrow-satellite. That's ESCROW, escrow-satellite. And please send it into Marvin's. And the people on the committee that are overseeing making sure none of this money is ripped off. It's your money. And we can't get any money. We don't get any reimbursements for any of our time. That's your money being used to pay lawyer bills at this point. And that's all it will be paid for, is Steve Klein from SNS Reception, Art Meredith from the Cat House Bulletin Board. Now, I'm not so sure they didn't bust Art Meredith because he was involved with this escrow account. Credit people on the escrow account. Bill Myers from Satellite Watch Newsletter. I talk about Bill because he's a great guy, but he's also willing to stick his neck out and sit on a committee to make sure that no lawyers rip us off his back. Mike Cooper from Coop Satellite, Dennis Delanoy from formerly of CSAT and KSAT, myself, Shaun Kenny, and I don't know who else is. Sam Thompson. If you would like to sit on the Finance Committee, you're welcome to do so as long as you don't work for General Instruments.
Okay, now what I want to do is now I have to tweak, which is this pot right here, until I get my different screens on the screen. I'll do that. I'll tweak it. Okay, you have to go in real small increments in order to get this. Tweaked VR1 until you get the Superfix data editor on the screen. Alpha. 3 bytes could be A2 8000. So if you have those there, and everything is fine so far. Now we are going to continue with the next step. And since I've pushed my setup menu now, and I've got it on the screen, I'm going to switch off switch number 2, and leave on switch number 1. Now that I've turned off switch number 2, what I want to do is I want to go setup 3, read you 7 keys. So I'll do that now. Setup 3. Okay. First of all, I have to press number 7. What you should hear is until you get the first byte of data on the screen. Remember to refer to the detailed manual 3.2 puller as often as you need to. The manual supplements this videotape with extensive detail. As well, if you want to practice adjusting VR1 and VR2 and the keys, you can write dummy keys into U7 and pull them over and over again until you are satisfied that you will be successful each and every time when working with a new board. Now that I've switched off switch number 2 and switch 1 is still, I've gone setup 3, press number 7, and I had to tweak VR1 a chug sound. Chug, 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 chug. What I have to do is tweak VR2 slightly until I get the first byte of data. Screen as I change VR2 just slightly, and there's the first byte of data. So what has happened is I've tweaked VR1 until I get the chug chug, and then I tweak VR2 until I get the first byte of data, and that's that there. Now I am set to read the rest of the keys. What I have to do is I push my setup button, setup. I switch number 1 to the off position. Okay, it's in the off position now. Now what I have to do, I have to go setup 3, and press number 7. What's happening now is it's reading the bytes of data. If it's slow, you can tweak VR1 slightly in order to make it go a little faster. Okay, it's taking out the seed keys now. You notice every chug that it takes, it gets a byte of data almost. That's the way it should be. Okay, now to verify that we got good seed keys, these 2 bytes over here, D3 and D3, they should be exactly the same. Like these are checksums I have saving the keys on the board.